Hello and welcome back to Jimbo's PC Builds. It's time to add another cooler to the Cooler League. So without further ado, let's take a look at the cooler that we're going to add today. We're going to be adding the Asia Horse CP200. Now normally at this point I walk you through the structure of the video, blah blah blah, etc etc. But we're going to do something a little bit different because the cooler included something a little bit different. So hang on a sec. It came inside with this wee little box. And let's empty it out and see what we got. So we got this silver star map card which said Wandering Knight on it, and we got this, well, it looks like it's like a stand-up display item, which is Asian Horse Industry. It's a Black Knight. And finally we got like this collector's card. So that in turn led me to find out that the cooler is actually called, also apart from the CP200, it's called the Wandering Knight. Now I don't know if it's limited edition, but these kind of things are not normally what you get in a cooler. So beyond all that, we are going to do the usual. We are going to go through the install, and once we've done the install, I'll give you my thoughts on the install. Then we'll go through the testing results, we'll go through the graphs, we'll talk through the scores, then we'll see the league table, and then at the end of that I will give you my final thoughts and conclusion. Alright, after all that, let's get on with the install. So with this cooler, like many others, you've got a back plate that has an adjustable height thing where you go for either, I think it's 1700 or 1150. So, and the 1700 is compatible with the Ultra motherboards as well. So that's how you set it. as you know, as you can see, if you actually see the cooler behind me, we're installing on a i9 14900K. So, as we have them for all the other installs. So for Intel only, this is basically the procedure where we've got this, again, this seems to be the normal thing, a backplate with 4 prongs on it that you can adjust for either sockets 1700 or 20s or 11 or whatever it'll be. Then you put it through, and then you have to make sure you hold it in place. So if you're doing an install on, say, a box or whatever, it's fine. But then you have to put these plastic kind of nut things on, and then you have to put this, you have to then put the bar on, and then put the screws through the bars, which, if everything's held in place, is nice and easy. But even then, you've got to make sure the bar's lined up, you've got to get the screws through, and it's a bit finicky. So yeah, it's not the easiest install in the world, it's not the worst, but it's definitely not the greatest. There's a better way of doing it than that, which involves more of a staid approach where you, like on some of the others, where you get like the bar through, then you put a double-ended nut thing on which has got 3 things each side, and then you can mount the bars very easily once the actual backplate and the main housing is in place. So that could have been better. Once you've done that though, the rest of the install is pretty easy. It's a normal, you know, line it up, put it on, screw it on, and bingo, then the cooler's installed. There's no RGB, it's blackout, which if you like that kind of thing is very nice. So there's no cable to worry about from an RGB point of view. It's just a case of stick it on, attach the header, the fan cable to the header, and off you go to off to the races. All right, so that's my thoughts on the install. Let's get to the test results. Base temp. The Asia Horse CP200 comes in with a base temp of 30, which is higher than all the other coolers that we tested or retested for season 3. Not a good start, but again, base temp doesn't mean that much. Let's have a see what it looks like when we combine it with bass sound. To achieve that 30 degrees, the fans were already having to keep going at idle, and we're making a decibels of 36, which is massively higher than any other cooler that we've tested in season 3, and really does not bode well, because if it's having to work at idle, oh boy. And with that in mind, let's see how it did with Cinebench. And the answer is not good. It scored the lowest by a country mile in the whole in season 3, with a score of 1,938, which is much lower than every other cooler that we've tested so far. So when we get to the max temp and max sound, I'm guessing that's not going to be good either. So let's go to max temp. Oh boy, it really did not take long to thermal throttle, which is reflective in the score. As soon as literally I started the test, it went to 98 degrees pretty much straight out the gate, and then it floated around 100 or 98 the whole time, which is why the score is so low. But you know, that's not a surprise really if you look at the size of the cooler, but we'll get to that in the conclusion. Max sound, it actually didn't finish last in something. I think the fans and the heat pipes on the cooler just don't really keep up with what's needed for the 14900K. So that's why, even though it was thermal throttling, the fans had no more to give. So that's why the decibel sound didn't get any worse than what was there, which was 54.6, which is pretty loud, but not that bad compared to the Delta A62. So, boy, oh boy, yeah, it pretty much ran out of steam, shall we say. Scoring ranges. The scoring ranges haven't changed, so we'll quickly move on to the league table. And without a surprise to anybody, the Asia Horse CP200 finishes firmly bottom of the table with only 16 points. The only thing I can say about it, which looks positive in this, is it holds the record now for finished bottom in everything. With an average score of 1 point, average max temp 1 point, average max sound 1 point. It didn't do very well. It did well in design, purely because, you know, earlier in the video I showed the cards and stuff that come with it, and it's a pretty attractive cooler. So I'd have to say it got a 3 for that. Ease of install, as I mentioned in my design install conclusion, it got a 2 because some part of the install was a little bit fiddly. So, cooler analysis. Oh boy, it may have 2 fans, but it didn't help it in this case. So you can see the price is $26.33, which is actually the cheapest cooler by a mile. But then if you look at the score excluding price, it got 10, which means, because you know, it's $2.63 per point, which is worse than the Delta A62 and much worse than the Phantom Spirit. So even though the Phantom Spirit was nearly $9 more expensive, it's $9 well spent. The max temp was 100, so therefore the cost per degree below 100 was $26.33, which is the worst of the lot. So, in short, it finished bottom. In terms of price, it's cheap, but you're getting what you paid for. Alright, now on to my final thoughts and conclusion. So in conclusion, the Asia Horse CP200 aesthetically is beautiful. It's a good looking cooler. You get all kinds of little bits and bobs that come with it, but a great cooler it is not. It might be okay with lower end stuff like, I don't know, a Ryzen 5 5600X. It might be okay with that. Difficult to say 100% for certain, but it might be. But let's cut to the chase. Avoid it. Right, unless you want to get it for a collector's item or whatever else, don't buy the cooler. Asia Horse, I've only ever heard of them before for doing cable extensions and stuff like that for PCs, which look very nice. And it about sums up what the cooler itself. They should have stuck to doing nice things like cable extensions and stayed away from coolers. Leave doing coolers to companies that know how to build coolers. There's a good reason why a lot of the best coolers don't look the most pretty. And that's because they're functional. The function is above form. In this case, the form is above function. You can see that well with the install. The install was finicky. You know, it's just, Asia Horse, stick to doing cable extensions. Don't worry about doing coolers. Leave that to the likes of your Thermalrights, your Thermal Takes, and your other brands out there that do really well at doing coolers. Leave it to them. Stay out of that market unless you've literally spent a lot of time doing the research on actually what a decent cooler is. Then don't bother. It's just not worth it, really. You know, for just to, like, if you're a fan of Asia Horse and you want to get something that's attractive and you know you're going to be cooling something that doesn't really need a lot of cooling, then, you know, why not? You know, it's $26, so it's not exactly a big investment. So at that point, why not, I suppose. But that's as a positive spin as I can put on the whole cooler. Alright, so just goes to show not every cooler I choose to test is going to be a success. You know, some of them aren't good, and this was an example. So if you like this video and seeing a cooler struggle, then give it a thumbs up. If you've got any comments about the video, oh, and before I forget, because the cooler is so small, you won't have any issues with RAM clearance because it goes nowhere near your RAM. Somebody asked me about making sure I mentioned that, so there we are. So anyway, back to it. So yeah, please stuck a like on the video. If you've got any questions or comments, put them in the box down below. I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. Work commitments, etc. get in the way. If you feel inclined to do so, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'm not very regular with my videos. They're normally about once a month. So if you subscribe and then hit the bell icon, you'll be notified when my videos are coming out, so you won't miss them. Yeah, and oh, and if you don't like the video, please leave a comment down below so I can, you know, see to improve. Or even if you did like the video, you can still see something that I can improve on. Like mentioning about RAM clearance, that'd be great. All right, that's all the YouTube stuff done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, take care.